Hi everyone, this is Lori with Three Keys Astrology, and I have a couple of announcements. First and foremost, I am trying to upgrade my website, so please scooch over there. If any of you have any good ideas, I welcome them. It looked rather elementary. It's improving a tiny bit, but I welcome your help or advice. And that's number one. Number two, this is your weekly forecast for Sunday, January 26th through the 2nd of February. And number three, we're going to talk about a big event this week, and that is the new moon in Aquarius. So it's a combination weekly forecast and new moon in Aquarius. You'll be able to find this video on my website. So I'm encouraging you to go over there. Please become a member. There's a login service, and then you can read my blogs and posts, and we'll have more things there. If you're new to me, I'm an astrology teacher. If you'd like to learn astrology, you can become a professional astrologer and begin your own practice in 20 weeks if you have 3 hours a week to study with me, and if you have the diligent time to really get involved with your lessons. Now then, the first thing I'd like to do is I want to talk to you a little bit about some planetary energy. And I know a lot of you that have been with me for the last 5 years understand things, but it's always nice to have a refresher. And I want to say, we astrologers have been saying, have been very eager about this age of Aquarius, and we started to talk about the monumental changes that were happening when Pluto was ingressed into Capricorn in 2008. And we said things like, the banking industry is going to implode. That we also said Pluto is a form of annihilation and destruction wherever he is in the horoscope. When he was in Capricorn, those were actual constructions, physical constructions, because Capricorn is an earth sign. And we said buildings would come down and things would destruct, because that's Pluto's purpose. He breaks everything down to its pure form, where there's corruption and there's discord, in order to have a rebirth and bring things anew. So we saw malls being decimated, banks. When you used to have to stand in line to cash your paycheck on Fridays, they'd have 10 or 15 lines at these big banks. And all of a sudden now, in the age of Aquarius, which is air ruled, we can bank online. We can bank with the internet. So we are living in incredible times of change. And I am not going to be apologetic for my moral values or my conservative values. I'm pretty liberal when it comes to social issues, when they're not so far irrational. However, I believe that people should do what they want to do behind closed doors without the interference of others. But if you choose to make that your broadcast, then I have the right to use my critical and moral thinking to judge you. And that's my stance. So I'm elated. I voted for President Trump the first time. I voted for him the second time. I'm very happy that we have someone in office who has conservative ideas, who believes in American enterprise, and who's interested in building. And that is aligned perfectly with this age of Aquarius and all these new opportunities. So let the critics say what they want to and mock the billionaires that are flocking into the White House to invest in our country. And then go visit a third world country and make the comparison. Money does make the world go round. It costs money to build things, and it costs money to implement ideas. That's a really big theme for you to think about during your weekly forecast. I encourage you to go to my channel and look. I did extensive work on Pluto's ingression into Aquarius. I believe those videos are called Pluto Plows into Aquarius. They were in two parts. And I also did a Facebook Live. And if you're a member of my private Three Keys Astrology Facebook group, you will be able to view that video. I put a lot of time and effort into that. I made that on November 20th. So if you become a member of Three Keys private astrology group, there's criteria. You have to believe in God. You have to have a moral fortitude. This is a private group of intellectuals that are quality people. And that is one of the beautiful things about the administration now. The people that are being confirmed in the Senate to hold high offices are, I think of Kristi Noem. If you don't know who she is, go look. These are people that our children can aspire to be like. If you're gonna be lazy through this world and sit by expecting everyone to come and make your way, you're gonna be very unhappy, you're gonna be very critical, and you're gonna be miserable. The Age of Aquarius is air themed. It's there's mental recharging that's happening. Our babies being born now are going to be more intelligent than babies ever have been in all of our generations. And the excitement that's in the air is indeed electric. Aquarian energy is electricity. It's ruled by Uranus, and that's the electrical field in our cosmos. It's kinetic energy. It's all the energy that it takes to live, to breathe. Air is breath, and air is inspiration. And there's a lot of positive energy. Aquarius is a male energy, so it's positively charged. And it's exciting what's going on. For those people that suffered the horrible Plutonian tragedies in California, our darling president, within 1 week of his office, visited 2 states that were devastated. North Carolina by flooding, California by fire. California, unfortunately, is going to be facing mudslides when the rains come in and springtime comes. Neptune's at a critical degree. He's moving into Aquarius, but until that happens, especially at that 28th and 29th degree of Neptune in Pisces, we are going to be seeing a lot of flooding and more issues with water. Excuse me. Before I go on, for all of you that are watching, it's important that we start to put our money and investments in clear and clean water. The waters around the United States are not clean. I have members of my family in Italy where you can see right through to the bottom of the beach. We need to get more pristine. Pluto in Aquarius, the energy between the air and the water is symbiotic. And we know that those molecules of air hold water. It's hydrogen and oxygen. And we've got to come up with better ways. There are countries like Finland and Sweden that have a different criteria for the way they dispose of garbage. America has to do that. Pluto is garbage. It's sewage, it's sewers, it's funky, necrotic decidua. And that is decay and decomposition. And our sewer systems in this country have to be revitalized. So in this age of Aquarius, Pluto stays in Aquarius for the next 20 years. It'll ingress in 2043. And it'll come back again to Aquarius in about 6 months after it does its next ingression into Pisces. But we have to think about clear and clean waters and be more vigilant in where we put our money and our efforts. So before we get started with the weekly forecast, and then I'm going to be talking about the new moon in Aquarius, I'd like to give you some reminders about the planets in general. So I tapped on a couple things just in this introduction. I talked to you about Neptune. He is King Neptune was the ruler of the waters in the world. In Roman mythology, he was Poseidon. He's seen with a Triton, and many of you in my private astrology group, Three Keys Astrology on Facebook, are the Pluto and Scorpio generation who grew up watching The Little Mermaid. And as a child, your first experience with mythology would have been some of those Disney characters. King Neptune rules the waters of the world, and in the human body that is 98% water, our minds, our emotional body within the brain and in the stomach are ruled by Neptune's what goes on in our imagination, in our emotional dream worlds, in our hopes and what we need. And then I talked to you a little bit about Pluto in this introduction. And remember, the symbol is black. And these are things that are taboo subjects, Plutonian subjects. It's the deepest part of the sewage of the body, the bowels. And it is everything that's secretive and everything that's hidden. And Pluto is a planet that is a destroyer to get to the purity. So, and that sounds so bizarre, but indeed the old cliche of the phoenix rising is a Plutonian theme, because things can be burned to the ground, literally, like they have in Los Angeles and other parts of California. We saw Paradise in 2018 be destroyed, and now we're seeing this terrible, terrible destruction, annihilation. Indeed, an area that was put into an oven, an incinerator, and burned down to the ground to get to the pure energy. Another good and analogical concept is the concept of the volcano when you think about Pluto. So inside of this mountainous, gigantic inferno is a pressurized system that's roiling and burning and building pressure to an explosion point. And then red lava pours out all over the earth, on fire, burning. But what's left behind once that happens and the explosion and fires are over, and the noxious chemicals from the clouds that come from the poisons within this explosion, are analogous to an emotional breakthrough or a therapeutic process where this upheaval is finally exposed and released through therapy, through the process of connecting to a good therapist who can let that come up. What's left is forgiveness, healing, good health, a purification. On the earth, when it's a volcano, the fertile land that's underneath, that's been burned by that hot, hot lava and recreating hills and mountains and new lands indeed, is very fertile soil that will produce great fruits. So those are a couple of themes. We talked about Neptune and the waters of the world, and Pluto breaking things down that are destroyed, decayed, rotten in our lives. And so now I want to start from the very first planet and talk to you a little bit about the urges that are represented by these influences in our daily lives, and what the purpose is of astrology, and astrologers like me who are primarily concerned with relationships. When you get readings from me, we talk about those interpersonal relationships, and on my website, www.3keysastrology, I've got couples readings. Then I've got readings for lovers. If you want to understand your lover and meet his or her needs, understand his or her urges, understand behaviors, traits, and characteristics, I'm the astrologer you want to contact. So go see what I have to offer. I've got an astrology and remedy offer on my website that talks about any health issues you might have, and the ones that come from our emotional choices, and how they can be healed and cured. I have a reading on my website. I was very interested in Black Moon Lilith. You can go see my videos on my YouTube channel to see the work that I did when I was analyzing the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, when I spoke about Jada Pinkett and talked about the way she treated Will Smith, when I analyzed some of the men that had affairs with their nannies, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and others that are on my channel. It was during the Pluto Scorpio upheaval where things are being outed, like Moonves, and all the sexual predatory things that were going on with Epstein and Weinstein and all these horrible characters. I did videos on Jeff Epstein. I did videos on Ghislaine Maxwell. I did videos on Prince Andrew and their sick menage a trois of destruction and destroying. And again, my moral perspective is pro-life. I'm against prostitution, human trafficking, child abuse, and the moral fortitude of this country has to support life and honor life and respect the Ten Commandments. And so that's where I stand, and that's how I feel. And if you need to come back, come on back. A lot of people are changing their ways and their ideologies, seeing so that we can go forward productive and merit-based and achievement-oriented and back to academic successes and clean up this very dirty world. And that's Pluto's purpose. So let's talk about the sun. The sun, first of all, has the urge to be and to create. The sun is a masculine entity. It represents the father in the horoscope. It is God. If you want to consider that within 8 minutes, mankind would be totally wiped out without the sun's rays. It is warmth. It is wholesome. It's your urge internally to urge and to create. And what does the sun need? It needs to be recognized, and it needs to express itself. And so we can think of our Leo friends who are ruled by the sun. And I just talked to you about what their urges are and what they need. The next one that I want to consider is our moon. And our beautiful, beautiful moon is mystical and magical. And all of our Cancerian people are ruled by the moon. I am a Cancer rising. Moon's the mother energy. It's very maternal energy. So whether you're a little boy Cancer or a little girl Cancer, you'll naturally be protective and nurturing, and caring. And the moon's urges are to feel inner support. If you want to know what someone needs, you find out what their moon is. If you want to buy them really good gifts that they'll appreciate, find out what their moon is. A moon is emotional security. It's a domestic energy. People that are Cancerian prefer to be at home to having active social lives. And what does a moon need? What do Cancers need? Emotional tranquility, peace, harmony, a sense of belonging. And so these things are all very, very important when you understand planetary energy. We're going to talk a little bit later in this video about the new moon in Aquarius and what that moon needs. What the moon needs in Capricorn is very different from what the moon needs in Cancer. And yet the harmony and the basic of every single moon is we all need a home. We all need to belong. In God's creation, you were born a part of someone else because two other people came together. And that's the core essence of the belongingness that is needed by the moon. The next planet we'll talk about is Mercury. And Mercury rules Geminis and Mercury rules Virgos. Gemini is like the little sister and Virgo's the big sister. Virgo's more analytical than Gemini is, but both are thinkers. And so Mercury rules our communication processes and also the way we move. So the urges represented by Mercury are communication, to be thought of, to speak, to be spoken to listen, and to be heard. And the core of what Mercury needs is to establish connections with each other. So Mercury is the child in the horoscope, the little child. When the sun and the moon come together during a new moon, that's this night skies are dark. That's when mommy and daddy are making babies, making a new moon, a new creation. The next planet we'll talk about is one of my favorites. It's Venus. I'm Venus ruled. My sun and my moon are in Venus. I am a Taurus, an Earth mama, and Venus is about what we love and what we value. And so the urges represented by this planet are expressing our affection and experiencing pleasures. And that has to do with, and where the money comes into that is what we desire and what pleases us and what we give our affection to has to do with the material world. Therein lies what you spend your money on, what you value, what you purchase, what you buy, what you appreciate. The need of Venus is to feel wanted and to feel close and to experience comfort and harmony with someone else. Now we come to the planet Mars, and I've talked a lot about Mars when you're in my private Facebook group. We're always doing astrology in there, so I welcome you to come and become a member. Mars has been in a pretty critical position because it's debilitated in Cancer. That is not a good placement. When you're born with this, you'll have passive-aggressive tendencies. You'll have trouble expressing what you really mean, what you really want. Mars is an action planet, and it's about desire. So we go after the things we desire, and we spend our physical energy to do that. Mars represents the blood and what impassions us, what makes us move, what gives us energy. So the urges represented by Mars are self-assertion, our sex act, our aggressiveness, and our ability to act decisively. So what are the needs? And it's the need to achieve. And that's physical excitement, sexual excitement, all desire, and our ability to be motivated and to take that action. That's Mars. The next planet we're going to talk about is Jupiter. Jupiter is currently in Gemini, but it will be blessing where it's blessing all Geminians. They're currently going through a reassessment process if you're a Gemini, and you're being way empowered by Pluto and Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. These are going to be great, great changes for you that'll happen a little more smoothly than some of the other signs. So you'll be very mentally charged. And right now you're reassessing what's valuable to you, what's important to you. Jupiter gives us high blessing from heaven and grace. It's a planet that's a heavenly body. It's benefic. So it gives you the desire to belong to something greater, God, to do your soul work, to realize I am an earth being, but I have a soul in my body whose home is somewhere else. I'm here to do work on this planet, this dense ball, this big ball of dirt, the earth. However, I'm a soulful being, and Jupiter will help you connect to that. Jupiter's needs are for faith and trust and for self-improvement. And how do we do that? Through education. So on sometime in June, I keep mixing this date up. I think it's early June. Jupiter's going to ingress in Cancer and bring lots and lots of blessing to Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio most of all. The next planet is a really important planet. It's got a bad reputation. A lot of people are afraid of it, but it's Saturn. Saturn's of the Earth. It's Capricornian. And it's about constructing and building and about discipline and duty and order. And so the urges represented by Saturn are security through physical properties. So it would be like your home. Human beings can't live in the elements. We need shelter. So Saturn is a great, great planet for construction workers, builders, architects, often have strong Saturns, people who know how to make structures that benefit the world. The need for Saturn is a social approval, because this planet isn't as domestic as the moon is. The moon's about your little home, your little family, your private needs. Saturn cares about society's comforts and securities. Then we have Uranus. And Uranus is a big deal right now, everyone. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and the old ruler was Saturn. So when we meet Aquarians, we've got to figure out whether they're conservative Saturns or rebellious, fast forward moving, progressive Aquarians, Uranus. In the age of Aquarius, we're all being on this escalator of life, moving forward, moving forward, moving forward into a new dimension where mental realms are more important than physical realms. So when physical realms were more important, our ancestors had their duties. They didn't have a lot of room for imagination. A select few, usually the elite or the esteemed that could afford academia, were afforded imagination and creativity. But the common man in an earthly Saturnian society, his daily life was about security and survival. Build a fire to cook the food, farm the animals to have the food, work the land. And now in the age of Aquarius, you'll see that businesses through AI, businesses internet, businesses artificial intelligence. You don't need a structure. You can perform your work from home or anywhere there's internet access, which is now worldwide. So the age of Aquarius is this escalator into an elevated society that's no longer concerned with the physical as much as it is the mental. We have Neptune, and Neptune is the wonderful imagination. It is the planet of photography and water sports and film industry. And the urge for Neptune is to escape and to get in touch with your soul. Now, sometimes people that have afflicted Neptunes are become addicts because the world's too hard for them and duty and responsibility is too much for them. So they escape off with their drugs or their drink or whatever they smoke. And Neptune has no boundaries like the waters of the world. That is the most powerful force on earth. Neptune ruled waters. The waters, and the same thing of your emotional body and your imagination. It's limitless. There's no boundary to what you can create and think, God-given and inspired. So Neptune, its urge is to merge and to blend and create and to dream. And what it needs is to experience oneness. And so a lot that the Neptunian joys that we have, like when we dance and when we're acting silly or when we're storytelling, that's soul stuff, guys. That's pure soul. And the reason Pisces are my favorite sign in the whole world, because they're ruled by Neptune. And then we have Pluto, and we talked about a lot about him. I encourage you to go see those videos. They're in 2 parts because I had a gentleman coming to clean my sectional, and the noise interrupted in the middle. He came before I got my video done, so I made that video in 2 parts, but please do check that out. Pluto's purpose is to purify. And if you think about Pluto's the ruler of hell in mythology, also known as Hades. And what is hell for? To burn off the impurity of sin. You're condemned to hell because of your sins. You live in hell when you are sinful and immoral. Somehow, some way in your daily life, while you're maybe not in the fiery inferno at this moment, but our Christian Bibles tell us that there is such a physical place, a real place in the world. But in your daily life, you'll be tormented and tortured. If you're having affairs and you wish you were somewhere than you are, if you're stealing from your employer and then you got to go face that person with a fake, phony Plutonian face, the devil in disguise, anything that you do that's sinful or criminal is Pluto's domain. And you have to ask yourself this week, and as we progress into the age of Aquarius, who do I serve? Am I serving the devil in his domain of sin and criminality and violence or whatever of the 10 deadly sins that you're indulging? Or am I raising my ability to go back home and to connect again with God, to be moral, to be just, to be honest, to be forthcoming. So it's what Pluto needs is to refine itself and to let go of the old through pain. And that's the purging process of transformation that happens when it could happen to you in a psychotherapeutic session, when you finally get to a breakthrough and all that stuff comes out that you've had held down, buried in, deep within, pain of traumas in your life that you've experienced and were afraid to speak about, number one. Could happen, number two, during your Catholic transformation. Transubstantiation is that taking in of the blood and the body of Christ. That's a transformational process of you communing with your holiness and communing with Jesus through the transubstantiation of his soul being within that wafer. So Pluto is not anything to be afraid of, but it's an unstoppable force and a necessary force, just like it is for you to put the garbage out weekly or your home is rotten and destroyed. And it is the same thing with our emotional bodies. So I thank you for listening to that. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the weekly forecast, and then we're going to focus on Uranus. And I want to tell you some really interesting things about the moon. I've done a tiny little bit of horary astrology. That's something called electional astrology. And these are the things that we do if we're missing something or we lose something or we can't find something, or if we have a question that we need to be answered. The astrologer, as soon as the client comes to the astrologer, we throw a chart immediately for the querence question. And then those stars, that alignment in that moment in time will give us clues as to what the person needs or is looking for. That's really important because we've got a new moon every month. This month it happens in Aquarius. This is really a good week for Aquarius, I'll say. I really love the week overall. It's much more positive than it's been, though we cannot forget that we've got the Mars-Pluto opposition going on, that we cannot forget that Mars is debilitated in Cancer, and that is a bit of a frustrated energy when you're trying to implement your ideas. But hold out. It's great for planning. It's great for revising because Mars is in retrograde. So all the RE words, revise, recreate, reinvent, realize, all those words are really important when any planet is in retrograde. Jupiter is retrograde, but it's going to be it's Uranus that's going forward this week. The big events of this week in this forecast is for Sunday, the 26th of January through February. I'm going to peek in and give you a little snippet. My forecast goes Saturday to Sunday, but my middle child is born February 2nd, and it's her birthday. And you should get a birthday reading every year, friends of astrology, because the planetary energies on the day of your birth each year show you. It's like lifting the veil on what the year is about. I also do here and now readings. So while you may have gotten a birth chart reading, your life progressed at whatever age you are, 25, 35, 45, is a lot different than it was the day you were born. So we've got a new moon in Aquarius at 9 degrees that's happening on the 29th. That means the sun and the moon are all snuggled up together in the night sky. You won't be able to see the moon because she's hidden by the sun. She's enveloped in his arms. They're making a new baby, making a new idea. New moons are new creations. Uranian, of the Uranian kind. And Uranus rules uranium and all the sciences, physical, chemical, forensic, doesn't matter. Uranus is science. It's astrology. Uranus rules astrology. And you'll find many of us who've chosen to do astrology have strong Uranus energy. It's out-of-the-box thinking. It's the genius. It's the weirdo. It's someone who is kind of on the fringes of society that does things a little bit differently. Uranus is sudden events that happen all of a sudden and come out of the blue. It is indeed lightning. Think about that energy. snapping and slicing through the skies, lit up. It's electricity. It's acquisition. It's airplanes. And as much as I hate to say this, I'm going to say it. I hate to say that because I know a lot of people who travel for a living, and but we've seen Pluto and Aquarius is going to be a lot of deadly, destructive things going on with air flight. And excuse me, if you look back just to the month of January alone, almost daily, we saw horrific things on the news having to do with airplanes. The other thing, we're big sports aficionados in my house, and whenever we've got Uranus, the sun in Aquarius, and now Pluto there, we're going to see a lot of ankle injuries with our football players. When the sun was in Capricorn, it was knee injuries. With Aquarius, it's ankle injuries. Ankle injuries. A subject that I hate, that I'm against, abortion. Uranus rules abortion. It's the sudden and abrupt ending of life. Uranus's wonderful parts have everything to do with mental energy, your curiosity, your ability to invent new creations. So let's talk about the week ahead, shall we? On Sunday, the 26th of January, we're coming to the end of the first month of the brand new year. We have the sun in Aquarius, and the moon that day starts out in Sagittarius, and this is harmonious. We have Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, like I said earlier, another significant air energy. And then we've got Eris, which is a fire energy, and it's the god of chaos, but it's in the galactic center. And because this energy is so profoundly air this week and earth, I think the themes for you to think about are think and build, think and build, think and build. Now, the galactic center is 27 degrees Sagittarius. It's the belly button of the universe. And that is as though the whole world, the whole wide world, the earth, is a big womb. And the umbilicus is 27 degrees Sagittarius. People born are extremely blessed with this degree in their chart. Go see if you have a 27 degree Sagittarian degree and comment below. Let's talk about it. Actually, comment below and talk about anything you want with me. And please, I'm inviting you to come be a member of our group. And please do go check out my website and see if there are interesting things there for you. If you can come up with some good ideas for me to improve it and make it more 2025, I really need that help. So Sunday, there's a preponderance of this mental energy. And because the themes of the week are think and build, think and build, think and build, with Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, it's recreating and reaffirming our spiritual beliefs. Jupiter is your connection to God. It's the angelic realm. It's blessings raining down on you from heaven. And so that's important. And Sunday is a day of worship. We're supposed to keep the Sabbath holy. So because the energy is think and build, heavy earth and heavy air energy, I want you to know that that kind of energy is contemplative. When earth is with air, earth alone is doing your daily chores, building and constructing whatever it is that it could be making a cake. It's building something, making a nicer home by getting the laundry done. It's everyday chores. But when we add all this beautiful Aquarian energy and Geminian energy to the mix, it elevates that idea of building to fostering and building stronger families. It'll really complement our friends in California that are rebuilding their homes and rebuilding that city. This is holy, holy energy, and it's about everybody coming together. Aquarius is a group energy. It's not the solo lone wolf energy. Aquarians are a brotherhood of humanity and making everything better for the whole. I'd like to compliment President Trump also on his softer edge during this term. While I'm a little bit of a brat and I like a little sassiness and I love a sarcastic wit, I thoroughly enjoyed when he would snap back at people that said things to him, because I didn't find President Trump to start fights. But I'm of the belief, with my Italian and Irish heritage, that if somebody comes after you, you have the right to throw the next punch. And so I thoroughly enjoyed the debates when he was giving it back. However, there's a more thoughtful, and I'm sure his wife has a lot to do with it. He's a more thoughtful president. He's building bridges rather than breaking things down. And I see it at every conference he gives, and I applaud his first week in office. He is a mover and a shaker, and he's keeping his promises, all that we voted for. And this is beautiful. Think and build, think and build, think and build energy of Aquarius and of the earth energy Capricorn. So Sunday is a pretty nice energy overall. We've got the Mercury's in harmony with Neptune. So after church, if you have time to give undivided attention to little ones, watching a movie together and then talking about it. Don't just sit there and watch it. This is thinking and building, thinking and building. Teaching your children abstract thoughts are doing things like literary pursuit. What did that person do? Who was the protagonist? What was the idea of this film? Who was your favorite character and why? So that's really important. We've got Mercury and Capricorn, so our little children can do very well in basic concepts in their learning. And for those of you that are in college and taking exams and taking tests and furthering your study, this is excellent for all students that are in all creative arts, especially photography and film. This is excellent for any of the underwater sciences or oceanography, anything that has to do with that. And the other this is really wonderful. Our Venus is in the best place she could be for the whole year long. Venus is blessing Pisces. And Pisces should be feeling loved and adored and cared for. They're going to be a little cuter this time of the year than they are any other time of the year, because Venus gifts beauty. So Pisces should be really feeling beautiful inside and out. If you're not, you need to come and get an astrology reading and we'll figure out why. Venus on Sunday is sextile to Uranus and Taurus. That means Pisces and Taurians are really in good harmony. And that means that we should all be showing the people that we love how much we care about them. Are you adoring them? Are you taking the time, because that matters, to show them how you feel? And Venus in Pisces sextiling Uranus and Taurus can be sudden realizations about, oh my gosh, even though I've been working beside this person all the time and I consider them my friend, you know what, I think I'm falling in love with them. So Venus together with Uranus can be quite inspiring for love, for romance, for securing a future with somebody based on the bonds of love. I really like that. That's nice. The only thing difficult about Sunday is the moon in Pisces, the moon is squaring Neptune on the 26th. And that can be, if you start to feel unsure or antsy, or you start questioning things and feeling insecure, I ask you to ground yourself. Get outside and try to take a good walk. This is a good day to eat soups made of root vegetables. Even good old-fashioned chicken soup is wonderful when you're not feeling grounded. I think that that's important for you to know all through this period, because Pluto's really supercharging, our mental processes. So you've got to have a plan to help your body feel grounded and help you feel connected to the earth, and something that helps you feel rooted. We can get carried away Pluto right now is hitting my Mercury, which is 0 degree Gemini. And I can tell you that I have been supercharged to read, to think, to study, to analyze, to learn, to the degree that I'm only needing 4 hours of sleep at night. Now, normally that would make anybody crazy, but this energy is complementing my Mercury. So it's a peaceful desire to study, learn, analyze, research. Is that happening to you? And if it is, I'm interested to know what your Mercury's in. Please comment below and let me know what sign your Mercury is in and what degree your Mercury is in, and we can talk about that. So now let's go to Monday, the 27th. On the 27th, this day has a little bit of tension between the moon in Capricorn and Mars in Cancer. So those two signs will not be getting along with each other. Again, Mars is retrograde, so people are not forthcoming about the way they really feel and why they're doing what they're doing, and they maybe don't even know what they're doing. And that needs to be pointed out. This energy is also a contentious signature for mothers with their sons. And because Mars is in Cancer, I do want to say that for the male population, this is an energy that needs to be expressed. And Mars is the symbol of the sun. The dot in the center is the pure essence of who you are, your ability to be and to create. And then there's an arrow pointing out, and that infers action. And with Mars in Cancer, people feel held back and they're repressing they're stopped by desire. So I encourage all of you, especially with athletic sons or really alpha male family members, the best thing you can be doing right now with Mars and Cancer is to work out. And I have Mars in dignity in my sign. So this Mars, like most Cancerians, we have Aries in a square to us, any Cancer rising people. Mars in Cancer has caused us colds, inflammations, infections in this square configuration. And it's made us maybe a little bit angrier and a little bit more mouthy. And we also need to express that pent-up energy by getting physical. So I encourage everybody to do that. Doesn't matter whether you're male or female, but I can tell you that this signature, when the moon is against Mars, that's males against females, and the moon is the mother energy, so mothers and their sons. Now, the nice thing is the moon in Capricorn is in harmony to Uranus and Taurus. And so for we earth signs, sorry, I just can't get comfortable. We earth signs, I'm sitting on my legs and they're going dead. Speaking of not having enough energy and getting physical enough. So all the earth signs, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, are really blessed by this energy. And this is inspiration. And this is having fun with your female friends and your mom and making new things in your home. Is your home inspiring? Do you live in clutter? Do you live in a peaceful, beautiful environment? This energy is about making your home nice. On this day, Monday the 27th, Mercury moves into Aquarius. That's sweet. And that complements people that have their Mercuries in Gemini and their Mercuries in Libra. Again, this is mental energy, so this is about thinking and building, making your home better. Can you think of home improvements? While you might not be able to implement them and get them really going and on the roll until the end of February, and it'll really start to rock and roll after Memorial Day weekend. Mars finally is back on a normal cycle after Memorial Day weekend, the end of May, if you're in the UK and you don't celebrate Memorial Day, or anywhere else in the world that doesn't understand that. That's when that happens. But this energy is extremely mental with Mercury and Aquarius. We can come up with really innovative ideas. We can be struck by thoughts that help propel us into the future and take us where we want to go. So that's delicious. Now, very, very nice for construction is the moon is sextiling Saturn, and that's getting things done, especially in the home and with the family. And then later on in the day, Capricorns can be having some issues with Geminis. I just want you to be aware of that. Those two people are normally not that compatible because of the difference in their energetic beings. Capricorn's earth, and it's solid and it's thoughtful and it's quiet and it's conservative and it's dutiful. And Gemini can be all over the place, scattered, annoying because they're so busybody and energetically a little bit out of control. And that's very disturbing to somebody who's a Capricorn or a Taurus or a Virgo. It's like the little child who's hyperactive. That's kind of the energy of Gemini. And Capricorn is like the old matron who just wants to sit in the chair and read the book or study or get their work done. Really, get their work done is a big Capricorn theme. So that's something to worry about that day. Those two parties are not going to get along very well. So how about Gemini? You go to the playground, and Capricorn, you go to the library. All right. Then we come to Tuesday, and this is a really nice day next week. Tuesday the 28th, and this day is one of the best days of the week. And again, the energy is all earth and all air. So the theme, think and build, think and build, think and build, think and build. What can you create? What can you bring to fruition? What this is, while this isn't the greatest time for implementation, it's an excellent time for planning. Are you planning on reconstruction? We know all of LA is. So this is beautiful, heavenly blessing for all the people that are rebuilding in the Carolinas, in flood-destroyed places like Louisiana that I still think hasn't recovered some of their hurricanes. Texans too. So this is great for planning and for all architects, for all builders, for you to come together with your contractors. This week is perfect for if you're planning your education. Excellent. And I would say if you're indecisive about what that's going to be, or if you've already graduated high school and you're not sure where to go, I love academia. I am so happy on college campuses. I would be more than happy to help direct you to what your interests are based on your soul pattern and your star power. And that's what astrology does. So I'm very good at helping you narrow down those possibilities if you want to get readings or gift those readings to your children or grandchildren. They really enjoy it. We spend an hour together on Zoom. So this day is a really nice day for all scientists are going to love this day. Astrologers are going to love this day. All analysts are going to love this day. This is a really nice day too, once again, for love. We have Venus in Pisces. She doesn't stay there forever, but when she's in there, it's a shame not to give daily devotion to the people that we care about or to make people feel appreciated, that make our lives better. So this is a day good for gift giving, even if it's not a special occasion. The moon and Venus are in quite good harmony. Capricorns will enjoy the company of Pisces, and everybody enjoys a compliment or a thank you or appreciation. This day is excellent for that. This is a great day for mommies and children. Take your little ones to museums or do something that's a learning fun play date. The moon is also conjunct Pluto, and wow, is this powerful energy. This is the best day to get that therapeutic breakthrough. When the moon and Pluto come together, you are emotionally cleansed. Mercury is also conjunct Pluto. So if you've been afraid to admit I was abused or this is going on in my marriage or whatever it is that you're holding in that's dark and taboo and secretive, this day you can let it out like that volcano exploding. Let it out, cry, bawl. It's a cathartic experience when Mercury and Pluto come together. And then we come to Wednesday the 29th, and we're going to elaborate on this day a little bit because this is a day of the new moon. And I want to talk to you about what the ancients thought. I want to talk to you a little bit about horary astrology. And the reason that this new moon is so exciting for all, most especially first Aquarians, you will go through monumental changes this next 20 years. You won't even recognize your life before. And for all the world, just like the things that we're seeing in government with this new administration and all of the amazing people in AI that are coming forward with all their inventions to bring this to the world. Starlink. Elon Musk has a new cell phone that's cheaper than all the rest that are connected to his spacecraft work. This really, our world now is going to be unrecognizable in even 5 years the way we lived before now. So it's a very exciting time to be alive. You Aquarians, this is your new moon. This will be the first time. It's your new year, even if it isn't your birthday, though we know that's coming. And so this new moon happens at 9 degrees of Aquarius. It's 9 degrees and 51 minutes, actually. So it's almost the 10-degree point. And you can round up to that if you want. And again, we've got Mercury in harmony to Pluto, and that is expressing yourself and releasing anything that feels poison or toxic or awful inside. This is the perfect time of the year with a new moon in Aquarius to clean your body, clean your environment. How is the air in your home? Are you checking filters? Are you looking at the quality of the air in your home? Is it humid enough? Is it too dry? These are really important things to do with the air and the earth energy that we have on the planet. The focal point on your home is profound this week. Is your home a place of peace? Is your home a good place that you can study and think and learn and breathe and be inspired? If you're artistic, do you have a studio? If you're musical, have you designated a place where you could write music, play music, listen to music? If you're an astrologer, do you have your own part of your home to study, to learn, to analyze, to give readings? This is also very important. Wednesday is a pretty darn good day until the end of the day. And then there's some conflict between the moon and Mars again. Aquarians and Cancers will not be getting along. And there can be a conflict between what you feel inside and what you're able to do. It's that highly frustrated feeling of being impotent. And I want you to know that it'll pass. The best thing about this is this brand new moon is in harmony with Gemini's Jupiter. And Gemini's Jupiter gives us a blessing in the fact that Gemini is a twin sign. And Gemini is a very good rational thinker about what you think, what I think. They're pretty good listeners when it comes to hearing your side and my side and then coming to a balance in the middle. That's the blessing of this new moon. And Aquarians, you get to have this for the whole year. So not only are you being beamed up mentally and emotionally, being purged of pains and poisons and toxicity and things that have really hurt you in the past, that have impeded your progress. Now those things can get thrown off and dumped and left behind while you soar forward to your soul purpose and where you really belong. The thing about this is, with Gemini's Jupiter being Gemini toned, you're going to be open up, just like we're seeing in President Trump. He's indeed a Gemini. And we're watching him be more open to other opinions. He's even more thoughtful in complimenting someone who's maybe condemned him in the past. Instead of bucking against each other, you're coming to the middle and finding a balance and saying, oh, I didn't consider that possibility, or why do you think that way? That's the blessing of this new moon trining Jupiter in Gemini. The sun and the moon today are together making love in the sky. New moons are. So this is a really nice time for you to do the same thing. For men and women to come together quietly. It's a quiet day. It's a quiet contemplative day, I should say. It's not a day to be rearing around and running around. It's showing each other appreciation. And for many of you, maybe even making a new baby. New moons are new birth, new life, new experiences. So I love that day. What I wanted to talk to you about is this horary astrology. So one of the things about new moons is it's unfavorable for exterior achievement, new moon periods. It's the gestation period. So if you think about a child in the womb, that child can't come out and be yet. It's got a lot of growing to do, a lot of needs a lot of nourishment and needs a lot of nurturing. That's the energy we should be using at new moons. It's not such an active energy, and because this one is so mental, it's just stating mentally. And the time of the new moon's unfavorable for anything except those things that require secrecy. Well, we don't make love in public. We don't share our plans until we formulate them. So this gestational mental energy is really good in the quiet. The first 12 hours after the exact moment of the new moon are known as combust hours. And that's when there's a burning, a combustion. So that's not a good time to start anything new. That first 12 hours is the gestational period. But the next 72 hours are good and fortunate if the moon is strong and well aspected, and it is in its position to Jupiter. It's not in such a good position. It's in conjunction with where Mars is. But we already understand that and why that's going to take us a little bit more patience and time. But I just wanted you to know that old ancient thing about electional astrology, or aka horary astrology. So I love Wednesday. And I wish all of you Aquarians a very happy new moon. And if any of you have stelliums in Aquarius, or your sun and moon are in an Aquarian house like mine, the 11th house, you're Aquarian. You're a Uranian, whatever sign your sun is in, if it's 11th house. So this is innovative energy. It's the energy of the genius. It's the energy of somebody who loves ideas and concepts and new thinking and has ultimate creativity. Really good thing for that. So again, what are our themes for the week? Think and build, think and build, think and build, think and build. This is about prosperity, recreation, recreation, and of the land and in your home. That's the whole concept for your brand new year, all of you Aquarians, especially you that are born on Wednesday the 29th. You will experience frustration. We can get more into that in a personal reading because of the Mars Chiron in conjunction, and because of Mars being in conjunct to Mars too, or the moon to Mars. All right. Thursday, Uranus goes direct this day. Now this is really good news on one hand, a little tricky on the other. So Uranus is at 23 degrees retrograde in Taurus when we start our week, but it's going to go direct. So all the things that we needed to be redoing, reinventing, rethinking, reconsidering, re-inspiring, redoing, whatever, all the re-words for our Uranian planetary purposes and energies. Thursday with it going direct is nice because it's moving through Uranus, and however, it's getting closer to that evil star Algol. So we have to be really careful with our impulses when this happens. When a planet stations direct, we can be a little bit extra impulsive. We can be a little bit extra energized to the point of driving other people nuts, especially with Pluto and Aquarius and that new moon energy in Aquarius, and with Jupiter in Gemini. So if you're just simmer down a little bit. And once again, if you're a little bit kinetic and a little bit crazy and a little bit too scattered, ground. Eat those root vegetables. Make sure you have your minerals. Calcium and magnesium calms the brain and nervous system. Potassium, especially, good for the heart, the brain, the mind, and calming. So Thursday, that's the biggest news, is that Uranus goes direct. Now she's still in Taurus. The nice thing is the moon is going into Pisces. Taurians and Pisces are two peas in a pod. They make great friends, great lovers, great family members that are harmonious to each other, understanding of each other, and complement each other. So if you're lucky to be in a union like that, and I am married to my first love, he's a Pisces. And now what's going to happen is something, and the reason I love Pisces so much, what's happening now at this moment on Thursday and Friday and Saturday until later on. Yeah, is the favorite energy I have about Pisces. It's lovey-dovey, smushy, wushy, gushy, good, gooey, syrupy, slippery, yummy, lovable energy. So lay it on thick. Slather the people that you love up with your favorite whipped cream or honey or whatever, chocolate, whatever you like. This is so good for lovers. This is so good for showing your children how much they matter to you, how important they are in your family. They are the little kings and queens of your future, in case you didn't know. And another reason I'm totally pro-life. And I'm even against the death penalty. The Bible says thou shalt not kill. Period. You can't argue with that. There is no debate. That's the way it is. So really love everybody up. Thursday is pretty sweet. And so is Friday. Friday can be a little bit contentious for Pisces and Gemini with each other. So those two signs have to be careful because they don't really gel very well. But the moon and Jupiter are together. The sun and Jupiter are together on Thursday. And yeah, I really like this day. Again, Cancer and Aquarius can have a little bit of a time. But I love Saturday. I love Friday for lovers. Saturday is super, super lovey-dovey, and the moon and Venus are together. And that is, even your love for God, it's just showing all your gratitude and appreciation for people that you care about. It's praising them. It's honoring them. This is a great day for any honorary celebrations. And if it's your birthday, wow, you have a really good imprint for next year. Come and get a reading. You're a lucky, lucky person. My little girl was born Sunday, February 2nd, my middle daughter, and her birthday has some really nice stars too. We'll elaborate on that more for next week's weekly forecast. But the only thing that I caution you is overnight Saturday, there can be a little bit of tension. Actually starts around 8 o'clock at night. So be careful to put out any fires or interrupt any conflict. Come to peace. Don't engage. I just want to tell you the stars for Saturday because they're so, so beautiful. We have the moon in Pisces trining that Mars in Cancer. So if you've had family difficulties, this is a great day to make up. This is not a day to break up. We've got the moon in a sextile to Uranus. So you can come up with really fun dates, surprise your lover, take someone somewhere where you've never been before, do something you've never done before. It's all about newness. Pisces in Venus, there is no better Pisces. There's no better way to show your love and appreciation than during this time of the year. And it's in harmony with Neptune, which is in Pisces. And this is the most romantic, the most dreamy, the most imaginative. This is what makes up the stars of people that create, that make us song, that make us film, that take our imaginations. This is like Disney World energy. It's beautiful. Then we've got the moon, like I told you, conjunct Venus. So show your feelings of love, show your appreciation. Make purchases that have to do with making everyone feel better. Yeah, this is the sweetest, sweetest day of the week, although Tuesday's nice and Thursday's nice. And this is me, Lori, from 3 Keys Astrology, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll share my work and encourage your friends to subscribe to my channel. Please comment below and get over to my website, 3 Keys Astrology. And if you have some suggestions, I'd love to hear them. I really need to make it better and more modern, and I promise to be working on that. Bye for now. Take care, everyone. Have a great week. Ciao.